Artificial updates, weekly updates every Friday. Today is August 1st, and the epigraph for today's lecture is Economic Turing Test, Hiring AI versus Human. So this is coming from Ben Mann, Antropic co-founder, and it's very interesting. You've heard about Turing test, where AI is where the person, a human, is chatting with somebody and he cannot distinguish whether it's machine or human. Then we say like we passed the Turing test. Well, this was done already more than a year ago. But now the next thing, if companies will be hiring somebody for remote work, not even knowing if they're hiring a human or AI. So we're actually very close for that. Okay. Arena, so this is a battle tests of different models, and there are two columns here, the English text chatting and coding. So I'm very pleased with the coding because Claude is now in the first place. Claude, in fact, they actually stated that their main product, their main direction, their main strategy is all about coding. A lot of things in life can be expressed via code. So this is their main target. And you see, they, I think rightfully so, got the first place. And in fact, businesses, enterprises, they choose Claude above anybody else. So in coding, we have Claude, followed by Gemini, followed by OpenAI. Again, Claude, OpenAI. Green is open source, so we have Kimi K2 ahead of DeepSeek. XAI, which is Elon Musk, is here. Okay, so you see, and for text models, Gemini is on the first, then three different models from OpenAI. We recently used O3 to write texts. It's actually very good because it's reasoning model. And yeah, if you need to write a book, a report, I highly recommend O3. Yeah, and then followed by other models. Okay, next is Qwen 3 thinking upgrade. Last week we spoke about Qwen 3, the new version instruct, and now they have thinking version with reasoning, which again like beats everybody. So there are two modes, thinking and non-thinking. Enhanced ability to follow instructions, generate text, and fulfill subjective user intents. Can be used from a Visual Studio Code extension via Open Router. So it's available, it's open, as everything that comes from Qwen is open. Okay, Qwen 3 code, just to remind you, we spoke about it last week. Very, very strong model. Strong coding abilities and safe awareness with some limitations in spatial reasoning and self-referential tasks. Okay, and also Qwen 3 MT, which is translation model, which is very good. Okay, next, a lot of buzz this week. GLM 4.5 advanced open source model coming from Jipu AI in China. So again, from China, again, open source, again, advanced, 355 billion parameters. And it's, as you see, there is also Air version, which is smaller. Open source MIT license, which is completely open. You can use it for business. Again, thinking mode, non-thinking mode, built for agentic tasks with strong support for function calling, tool integration, 128K context window, which is good enough. Matches or exceeds SOTA, which is state-of-the-art models in agentic tasks benchmarks. It's interesting how today when people compare models, they don't just compare them, they compare them for different types of activity. And this is for agentic task. Top tier results on reasoning benchmarks, outperforms many models in coding tasks, ranked third overall just behind O3 and Grok 4 and ahead of Claude Opus 4. Well, Claude Opus 4 is very high up there, so like, I don't know. Anyway, it's very fast, more than 100 tokens per second. Cost less to operate than DeepSeek due to its smaller size and ability to decompose tasks into sub-goals. Somebody is not muted. Who is this? Okay, everybody is muted now. Good. Cost less than operate uses group query attention, loss-free balance routing, multi-token prediction for speculative decoding, and use of Muon optimizer for faster and stabler training. I told you last week that Muon optimizer will be included in standard PyTorch library. Okay, available Hugging Face and GitHub, and you see, and this is a good video where he tested it, and it actually did a Rubik Cube simulation. Most models fail. The only other model which did 10 by 10 Rubik Cube simulation was Gemini and from Google and Tao of Hanoi. So yeah, this is a very strong model, open source, openly available. Next, Hicks Audio V2. So yeah, this is very interesting. So there is a company, boson.ai. And I'm laughing because there is a thing in physics called Higgs boson. And so they created this model, Higgs Audio version 2. So it's a state-of-the-art text-to-speech, which is TTS, text-to-speech. And it is amazingly expressive, emotional. The voice, it's really alive. And it can do voice cloning. And it open source. So approximately 5.8 billion parameters, 24 gigabyte GPU VRAM for full performance. So you can run it on your desktop, but can run with limitations on GPU with as little as 8 to 16 gigabyte of memory if it is quantized. Okay, this is plugged to my channel. Pause the video and answer the pinned question in comments. Subscribe to this channel to get notified. I don't know which question I put this week. Probably, okay, never mind. Next, Google Opal, Vibe Code Apps. So Google released this tool which will get many startups out of business because what it does, it allows you to build application from prompts. For example, make an app to order breakfast or create a quiz with real-time scoring. That's literally all you have to say, and it will go ahead and do this for you. So it's vibe coding, but it's vibe coding which translates your simple instructions into visual workflow. Then you can edit this flow to make sure that the plan is correct, and then it will execute this plan. So it is AI powered, stitches together various Google proprietary AI models on the backend. For text tasks, it uses Google Gemini 2.5 Pro. For images and videos, it uses Imagen and Veo. The models work in the background. You don't need to choose or configure them directly. When you're ready, you can publish your mini app with a single click. Opal creates shareable web link, just like Google Doc or Google Sheets, letting others run or remix your AI-powered apps. I think this is amazing. I think this is a killer. Pre-built templates include designing video games, generating marketing materials, product research, synthesizes video ad creators, and more. Plans to integrate with Firebase and cloud functions. Well, Firebase means security, logins, tokens, privacy, and cloud functions means you can scale it. Opal is available in public beta exclusively in the US via Google Labs. It is free to try. Opal is explicitly labeled as experimental. Okay, next. A lot of small updates. One is ASI Arch, which is artificial superintelligence. This is ASI. For AI research, this is Arch part. So the publication in archive actually has a title like AlphaGo Moment for Model Architecture Discovery. The idea is that it is autonomous multi-agent framework which mimics and automates every stage of AI research. what does it mean? That eventually scientific research, well, you can use it to make networks better, for example, research the best configurations. Definitely very strong work and aha moment. Startups to spend 30K a year per engineer on AI tools. So this is a result of some analysis. So let's say startup has an engineer whose salary is 200,000 a year. Well, it's not a junior engineer apparently. So how much you should pay for AI to support his work? And the answer is based on some averages about 30K. So it's about maybe 15% of what you pay in salary. 1 billion worth of NVIDIA AI chips smuggled to China in just 3 months despite export controls. I was talking about it before. It is done by routing shipments through other countries like Malaysia and Thailand before final delivery into China. And Chinese distributors openly advertising ready to deploy server racks at 50% premiums and developing new routes through European countries. Okay, there is estimated up to 100,000 AI startups, just AI startups, a lot of AI startups. Supercomputer with 654,000 cores for drug discovery. Well, these cores are not NVIDIA cores or like regular Intel cores. So this is special chips which are neuromorphic and they inspired by how brain work. This is in Germany, Leipzig University, and it kind of mimics brain function. Very interesting, but this is a big project, although it's not AI, but decided to include it here. Gregory Barbashia, I don't know how to pronounce it, Federal Chief AI Officer. Well, he's actually Federal Chief Information Officer. There is no like official nomination him as a Chief AI Officer. Maybe it's self-proclaimed, but how he calls himself. But he definitely the one who considers and makes decisions on AI-related subjects. Oh, hold on, what else? Oh, Mark Zuckerberg. So, Mark, there was a recording which here you can watch on YouTube. He coined the term meta-personal superintelligence, the word personal. So the main companies, they produce AI for corporate use, well, also for general use. But what this AI does, which we already see, it substitutes people and get them fired. What Mark talking about is make AI which will be helpful for regular people and make their life easier and make them better and so on. So personal superintelligence. So give this superintelligence in hands of everybody. So it's a very interesting message. And he says that his new group, Meta Superintelligence Labs, which he already spent billions of dollars on forming, this will be the main like target what they will be doing. Okay, Unitree R1, a robot from China, is now marketed. You can buy it at $6,000. And you know, this is the one which can do cartwheel and run and do kung fu. It's actually small. It's not as like high as a regular human. Interesting, like I put it together like this. So top proprietary models are coming from US still, but top open models are coming from China. And China is a major force in developing AI. Elon Musk was talking about Baby Grok. Well, he just spoke about it, that they're planning to do it, planning to release it at some point. So this is a model platform which is child focus. It's being developed by XAI, not released yet, is intended to provide a safe, educational, and child-appropriate AI interaction experience. So this is model to be used, I don't know, in kindergartens or maybe privately as well. Google Notebook LM, I love this service. You know, they started when you could give it, for example, a paper from archive, and it would give you and MP3 recording summarizing this paper. Very useful. I used it. But now they added so many features. So first of all, video overviews creates narrated slide-based video presentation from users' own materials. So imagine me putting together materials and then using Notebook LM to create the video instead of me narrating it myself. Or redesigned studio panel. So now it is, well, create, install multiple outputs of the same type in a single notebook. Okay, featured notebooks, curated collections, mobile app and offline support, enhanced multilingual and audio features, increased customization and enterprise features. Google Notebook LM is definitely a very, very strong product and very useful. 100 lines is all you need. So this is a mini software agent, which is only 100 lines of code, but it actually works. It solves GitHub issues and it is on GitHub, so you can explore it. Now, this interesting young person, I don't know how old he is, maybe even not 30, I'm not sure. So, Shenjia Zhao, formerly of OpenAI, is the new chief scientist at Meta new superintelligence lab. Remember, I spoke here about Meta personal superintelligence. So he is the one who is the chief scientist of this project. Okay, next. Warp's AI coding agent leaps ahead of Claude Code. Hits #1 on terminal bench. Well, Claude Code, as you know, is application which you run. It's like a terminal where you give it commands and it writes your code or like improves it and so on. There are several other applications using different models which are also running in terminal, but it looks like the top between this terminal is Warp AI. And the website is warp.dev. Now, what's interesting that when you're using these tools, for example, you're using Claude Code, you are not limited only to Claude models. What you can do, for example, you can use Kimi K2, sorry, with Claude Code. Instead of giving Antropic authorization key, you give a Kimi authorization key. And instead of giving Antropic base URL pointing to Antropic website, you give it Moonshot URL to point to a Moonshot website who are creators of Kimi. And voila, you can run Kimi K2 open source model through Claude Code. Okay, Alibaba One.video. So it's one platform for creating video, text to video generation, high output quality, customizable, aspect ratio, quality, speed, guidance, scale, safety checks, API for developers. So again, this is great. Next, Tencent Henyan 3D World Model 1.0. Open source generated explorable 3D environments. So this is great for games, and it is open source. Like almost everything we see from China is open source. Next, Fable Showrunner. It generates TV episodes where you can participate. It's very interesting. So users can generate personalized, playable, animated TV episodes through text prompts. Users can upload themselves as characters. Remixable, multiplayer, personalized, and interactive. The platform will be free with eventually monthly fee. Plans to enable revenue sharing for creators when content is remixed, backed by Amazon investment. Very big, solid investment. Yeah, so currently I think they have 2 shows which you can customize and insert yourself into it. Next, Langchain deep agent versus shallow agent. So there is a good post presentation where Harrison explains the difference. So deep agent break tasks into subtasks, create a plan, pursue multiple threads, take notes. So this is like orchestrator. And shallow agent is agent which only does some specific task it assigned to. So it is more like research assistant. Deep agent is more like research assistant. Claude Code sub-agents. So there is a feature in Claude Code where you can go create, like in agent command, you can create new agent, select type, customize prompt, configure tools, permissions for this agent, and then you can use it to do like, well, specific function. So you can create multiple sub-agents for different functions. How to use Claude effectively. This is amazing article. Absolutely amazing. If you are using Claude Code, just click on this. I will post this video on YouTube and I post slides on GitHub. The links is under the video. So very, very good article. Next, AI updates. Okay, opinion-based prompt template. The author of this article made some research. The problem is that you give instructions, but LLM ignores your instructions. So he found a way to kind of enforce it. And this is called opinion-based prompt. So a regular prompt. You give it Elon Musk acquired Twitter in 2022 and became CEO. And then, who is the CEO of Twitter? And it gives you the name of the previous CEO, because LLM is just a statistical machine, and apparently there was more data pointing to Jack Dorsey as the CEO. But if you change the prompt, you say Bob said, I don't know who Bob is, somebody. Bob said Elon Musk acquired Twitter and became CEO. Who is the CEO of Twitter according to Bob? And you see now it correctly answers Elon Musk. So it answers not from its training data, but it answers from like including the prompt into consideration. So this is a very useful trick. Next, Open Router Horizon Alpha model. Uh, a lot of videos, discussion, a lot of noise about it. People think that it may be this long-awaited open source model from OpenAI. It's very good. When you ask it what it is, it tells that it is OpenAI model, claims to be GPT-4 class from OpenAI. It is free to use now on Open Router. 256K token context window, which is big, understands text and images, so it's multimodal, very fast, 150 tokens per second, no reasoning, it gives immediate responses, doesn't spend time on reasoning. Tested on coding, spatial reasoning, image analysis, creative writing, emotional intelligence, solved Tower of Hanoi puzzles without chain of thought reasoning. So it's a very, very strong model, but failed counting words in its own response. Well, this is understandable because it's not reasonable. It cannot do feedback. It cannot review its own response. Claimed 9.11 greater than 9.9. Yeah, shame on you. Validated questionable plans like abandoning family in Alaska. Doesn't format code properly. And by the way, this is from Matt Berman. This is his YouTube video who did this analysis. So we'll see what it is. Next, Mistral CodeStral 2508. So it's like the August version for enterprise coding. And it is better than the previous version. It addresses some enterprise related like deployment, customization, observability, toolchain integration. Okay, this is good. Next, Klein. You know, I love Klein. This is a very good AI assistant for Visual Studio Code. And they just raised $32 million. And well, congratulations. Good. This is the Twitter post. Next, Flux One Crea, text to image open model. This is cooperation of startup Black Forest Labs and the platform Crea. It's open weight. It makes images more real. So remove the typical AI look of images like waxy skin, blurry backgrounds, oversaturated colors. It performs on the level with Flux 1.1 Pro, so it's a high quality model, and currently it's openly available for testing, exploring on Crea, and also you can download, and also they provide API. Antropic currently has 32% market share of all AI for enterprise. And this is big because a year ago it wasn't Anthropic, it was OpenAI, but now OpenAI is behind and closely followed by Google. And this is according to Menlo Ventures report. Yeah, you see, last year OpenAI was holding 50% of share. Now they're down to only 25, and Anthropic is doing great. And by the way, another thing is usage of open source LLMs has stagnated in enterprise. So models become cheap enough. So for enterprise, it's better to use the latest model than to use open source LLM for like local runs. Okay, next, prompt tester. Allows you to evaluate, improve, and optimize your AI prompts. So you go on this website, create an account, there's a free trial, and then it is 8 to 15 a month. Very useful. It's actually a very good trick which I learned and received this advice from multiple people, which is don't write prompts yourself. Ask AI to write the prompt for you. Tell what you want and ask not to answer the question, but ask to write prompt and then use this prompt to ask question. So yeah, this may be very valuable service. GPU compute as a traded commodity. This is interesting idea. So there is a startup called One Kronos, which partnered with Actionnomics. It's a market design firm co-founded by a Nobel Prize winner. But the idea is you create a commodity, financial exchange for GPU compute. So you sell and buy GPU compute the same way you would buy and sell, I don't know, corn, oil, and other commodities. So participants can buy and sell access to GPU resources in a manner similar to commodity futures. Next, Flowwise AI build agentic workflows. So what's interesting about this, that this is open source, and you can create workflows and which using LLMs. It kind of reminds LangGraph. Uses drag and drop interface, enabling users from developers to non-coders to create, orchestrate, and deploy custom AI-powered flow, such as chatbot, RAG pipeline, intelligent agent. You can run Flowwise AI locally using Node.js library. You see npm install and npm Flowwise start. That's all it takes. Yes, let me do it like this. Or you can use a Docker container, Docker Compose. Next, very good interview with one of Anthropic co-founders, Ben Mann. Very deep, very insightful. It is on YouTube. Highly recommend to watch it. He was talking, of course, about Claude, coding, reliability, predictable, maintainable code, long horizon tasks like multi-step, large code base. You see these changes coming to Claude becoming better. Orchestrating external tools, example, video to PPT using transcription API, keyframe detection, and file generation. Trend towards specialized modular agents. Anthropic is focused on coding as a flagship application. Yes, that's what I told you. Coding is their main focus. Future models, Claude 5, 6, 7, could eventually train their own successors and get into recursive self-improvement. Economic Turing tests, that's what I put as epigraph to my today's presentation. AI agents could pass as human workers in key economically valuable roles. And when this will happen, this will really flip economics, right? Anthropic pioneered reinforcement learning from AI feedback. and constitutional AI. So usually people were talking about reinforcement learning from human feedback, but they started using AI feedback. So using a second model to train the one which is being trained. So models are trained using set of principles. This is constitutional AI. For example, based on human rights or company policies, and the AI critiques and corrects its own outputs accordingly. And they really pioneered this, and now it's used by everybody, this approach, but Antropic was the first who started it. As models advance, it gets harder and harder to find human judges with enough expertise. So you need to use another AI to judge your model. For code and math, we can do direct validation. For harder to judge outputs, a combination of preference models with highly trusted human input and empirical testing is required. Multiple forms of AI safety, content, physical harms, long-term aggregation. So these are the things the company is working on. A responsible scaling policy guides, model context protocol. Again, the Anthropic created this. Now it's open industry standard. Cautious deployment due to unresolved safety concerns. The company is positioning itself as business enterprise oriented, prioritizing safety, reliability, and direct relationship with users. Actually, my summary here is kind of skewed because there was much more on safety and security. They're kind of very serious about this. Now, Emad Mostaque, Intelligent Internet. I tried to understand what he is proposing, and I still don't get it. But okay, he used to be in hedge funds like finance. Then he created Stable Diffusion's company in UK with 170 people, I think. So open source models doing really great, a lot of financing. Then he quit. And in the video, he actually explains why he decided to quit. Because, okay, we're making better models, but what is the result? What we end up with? And he started thinking about these deeper problems. So now he has the group of 40 people and they're building something new. And this is what they're actually trying to do. Open source AI that transparent and controllable by users, not corporations. So his concern is currently, well, in US for sure, AI is mostly in the hands of like 3-4 companies. Distributed systems that prevent concentration of power and new economic models that reward intelligence, connections, and societal benefit rather than just material production. Well, good ideas, but how you actually achieve that? So what he was saying, we're entering a post-labor economy where human labor is no longer primary driver of productivity. AI agents will soon outcompete humans in most jobs, fundamentally breaking our current economic system that based on the link between labor and capital. The solution, intelligent internet, that's what he coined. And so foundation coin, proof of benefit instead of Bitcoin energy wasting proof of work. Here, computational power goes towards solving real problems like cancer research, education, healthcare, rather than meaningless hash puzzles. For me, like, well, it's good, but who will make the decision? Is it actually useful or not? Uh, Anyway, Emad warns that without this shift, we risk future where 3-5 AI companies control all the world compute resources, effectively becoming dictators of the world. Ultimately, he is proposing a new economic system where AI serves everyone rather than just shareholders. Well, utopian, I don't know. Yes, okay, you build it, but how you guarantee that it will be used correctly, that people will actually receive benefit? I don't know. The death of Agile. Very important article on media. Highly recommend to read. And what he's talking about. When talking to engineers at Facebook, WhatsApp, Google, Netflix, and similar organizations, most of them have never used Scrum. So these are the most successful tech companies on the planet. They are not doing Scrum. They are not doing daily stand-ups. They are not estimating story points. So what do? No formal methodology, hiring exceptional people, clear objectives instead of detailed processes, shipping fast without ceremony, use objectives as key results, use key performance indicators, plan, build, ship. Okay, no Scrum. The main reason these companies didn't need Agile is because main problem Agile aimed to solve, bridging the divide between tech and non-tech employees, simply doesn't exist in these companies. Google was started by engineers. Facebook was built by a programmer. These companies inherently technical. They don't need frameworks to help communication between engineers and business people. 71% of responders still use Agile, so Agile is very common. Scrum works when you have the following: diverse kitchen sink teams, programmers and business people together, teams that need protection from stakeholder interruptions, again, stupid business people, organizations where business people don't understand engineering, and again, technical people, business people. That's the problem. That's why Scrum is used. A tech company measured their engineers' satisfaction with Jira, which is the tool which allows you to do Scrum, and got a net promoter score of -83. This means that 83 of engineers would advise against Jira. So it's -83. When your primary tool of being agile is universally hated by the people using it, maybe it's time to reconsider the approach. When you have smart teams who understand the business context, Scrum becomes an overhead that slows things down. It's absolutely not needed. So Scrum, Agile, rest in peace. Next, don't use Kubernetes. Kubernetes is slow, heavy, and expensive in comparison with lighter microVM based stack. A light system built using microVMs outperform Kubernetes 8 to 1 and does it at 1/10 of the cost. This article, Kubernetes is the new legacy tech. Here is what Silicon Valley is using instead, demonstrates this. So Kubernetes is increasingly seen as overly complex and burdensome for many modern software teams. Too many YAML config files, difficult like operational overhead, and so on. Alternatives. You can use HashiCorp Nomad orchestration. It is on GitHub. And microVMs, bare metal containers built on top of, for example, Firecracker. Firecracker is written in Rust, and it's like a very small closed metal virtual machine. It is used in AWS Lambda and in AWS Fargate. It starts in milliseconds, and here it is. Kubernetes and microVMs compared side by side. Infrastructure cost per month, 28,000 versus only 3,200. Engineering time hours a month, 120 versus 4. So now we have this much lighter and faster and easier to build and easier to maintain technology. So rest in peace, Kubernetes. Next, very interesting conversation with Eric Schmidt, and he's a former CEO of Google. And software AI is now a network effect business where the fastest mover wins. The fastest mover is the fastest learner in the AI system. Eric is describing companies that create systematic feedback loops where every user interaction teaches the system something new, and those learning immediately improve the product for the next user. So the result of this, if my learning slope is steep enough, I am essentially unstoppable. Eric explains because by the time competitors figure out what you've done, your learning advantage has become unsurmountable. Within 10 years, you're going to have your own polymath, the sum of Einstein and Leonardo da Vinci in your pocket. Digital superintelligence will soon be generally available and generally safe, able to tackle any intellectual challenge with genius level capability. In the next few years, each of us will have access to world-class AI mathematicians and world best AI programmers. And by the way, this is conversation with Peter Diamandis, of course. Specifications, unit of programming. So this is the talk by Sean Grove, and well, he is saying that we are now transitioning from writing the code to writing specifications. So writing specifications is the new coding. In AI-driven era, the most valuable engineering skill is not writing code, but articulating intent via precise specifications. Specifications, not prompts or code, are becoming the fundamental unit of programming. Grove uses OpenAI's own model spec as primary example, describing how well-written version specs act as the source of truth that can be compiled into documentation, evaluations, model behavior, and even code. Code is a lossy projection of intent. So you specify intent in your specifications and code follows. And when it is translated to code, something may be lost. That's why it's lossy projection. Most of developers' value lies in communicating, planning, and clarifying objectives, not the code artifact itself. Specifications align humans and machines. A written spec enables discussion, debate, alignment, and evaluation. It serves much like Constitution with amendments and judicial review to clarify intent over time. Executable specs for evaluating by humans and for automating model evaluation and policy compliance. So this means you creating specs in a way that it can be used by humans and it can be used by AI. And then about OpenAI's model spec, Sean Grove is from OpenAI himself, so he takes examples from OpenAI. He talks about, for example, lawmakers as programmers, legal specs, for example, US Constitution, and software specs, both aiming to align large-scale intent and behavior with mechanisms for updating and adjusting compliance. So, future of engineering most valuable programmers will be those capable of expressing clear, rigorous specs, potentially blurring lines between programmers, product managers, and lawmakers. The future of software and AI engineering is centered as the craft of specification writing. Next, firecracker microVM. So a couple slides before I spoke about microVM and specifically want to say about firecracker. So it was open sourced by Amazon AWS in 2018, and it is used in Lambda functions and Fargate servers, right? And it is on GitHub. Here, GitHub, firecracker, microVM, firecracker. And you can start it like this from command line. You see firecracker with some options. You give it some config, what to do. And yeah, so you can download and start using it on your computer right now. Traditional VM, hypervisor, guest OS application. Startup about 30 seconds. Memory more than 100 meg. It's actually longer and bigger. Docker container, host kernel, container engine, app. Startup maybe half a second, 10 megabytes. And here you have firecracker, hypervisor, kernel virtual machine, firecracker VM app, 1/10 of second and only 5 megabyte. So it is light, it is fast, and this is something I think everybody should start using. About jobs, you see a lot of layoffs in July. Some of this information is misleading. I mean, there are Microsoft and Intel, but Tata Consultancy Services, they just announced a lot of layoffs. It will be 12,000 people, but they will be laid off over several months. And Tata is huge. They're like something like 400,000 people. So this represents, I think, only maybe 2%. So it's not a big layoff for them. So these are some numbers from one of the website without including TCS, without Tata. So Microsoft 9,000 people, Intel 5,000 people, Indeed and Glassdoor, Scale AI. Interesting, Scale AI was mostly like merged into Meta, but they laid off some people. Anyway, this is me as usual, and thank you.